All the meat had been seasoned. The fire was ready. And so was she. In the valley where mist clung to the mountain ridges and roosters called into the soft dawn, two deep stirred awake. She stepped barefoot onto the cool earth outside her small wooden house, inhaling the dew-soaked scent of grass. The pale sky stretched like a soft blue canvas, brightening with the promise of another day. Inside, embers from last night's fire glowed faintly in the clay stove. She crouched low, feeding small sticks into the coals until they caught, flames rising to warm the modest room. As the crackle filled the silence, she whispered quietly, to herself, yet also to someone far away. "Good morning, James. Another day without you." Her voice carried both resilience and longing. James, across the sea in a distant land, worked tirelessly to stabilize his life and business. They spoke on the phone when they could, but geography pressed heavy between them. She missed the calm cadence of his voice, the steady encouragement, the way his presence once filled the house. Yet she had made a promise to herself, to endure, to wait. For their love, and for the life they had imagined together. A child's presence. She was not completely alone. For weeks, a boy of about 7 had been living with her, left in her care until his parents returned. His laughter and endless questions softened the emptiness. That morning, he stumbled sleepily into the room, hair in tufts, eyes barely open. "Teacher Deep," he mumbled, the name he had given her because she taught him letters. "I'm hungry," she smiled, ruffling his hair. "Of course. Sit down, I'll cook." Rice went into the pot, water poured over, and soon steam rose. She handed him a diluted cup of warm tea and a leftover piece of roasted sweet potato. He ate eagerly, legs swinging under the low wooden bench. Watching him, she felt a tender warmth spread through her chest, a reminder of her own hungry childhood, when survival was not promised but fought for. Now, she could give him what she once lacked. The circle of healing, small but powerful, was turning. The journey to the market. After breakfast, she wrapped a scarf around her head, lifted a basket, and prepared to walk to the town market for supplies. Salt, oil, perhaps, if luck allowed, meat. The boy skipped at her side as they followed the winding dirt road through fields. Farmers passed with their buffalo, women carried baskets of vegetables, and children waved as they recognized her. She returned each greeting with a nod and smile, though her thoughts ran ahead. What can I afford today? What will last the week? As they neared the roadside, she noticed commotion ahead. A cart pulled over, its axle broken. A large pig, restless and squealing, strained against the ropes. The choice. The owner, sweat dripping, cursed his misfortune. My cart broke. I was taking this pig to market. I can't move it now, and I need money today. Two deep sighs studied the animal. Strong, healthy, skin glistening in the sun. Meat like this could sustain her household for months if preserved properly. How much? She asked cautiously. The man hesitated before sighing. 1 million. Less than I hoped, but I have no choice. The number echoed in her mind. A fortune compared to her modest income. Yet she thought of the long months ahead, James still far away, the child beside her who needed food each day. Slowly, she reached into her basket and withdrew the folded bills she had carried. I'll buy it, she said firmly. Relief flooded the man's face. Thank you. Truly. Can you get it home? She glanced at the boy's wide eyes, then at the pig. It won't be easy, but we'll manage. By the stream. Together they led the stubborn animal along the dirt path, its squeals echoing through the valley, until they reached the stream near her home. Here, she knew, the water would aid the butchering. The boy's voice trembled. Teacher, will it hurt? She crouched, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. It won't be easy, but this is how we survive. From this pig, we'll have food for many days. Nothing will be wasted. His solemn nod carried the weight of understanding far beyond his years. The work was long and heavy. Her knife was too dull, but the seller had offered an old, sharper blade. She took it with gratitude. By the stream's edge, her strong hands worked steadily while the water washed away the mess. The boy sat nearby on a rock, clutching the book she had given him, reading simple words aloud: tree, cat, goat, his small voice weaving through the sound of the flowing stream. Yes, very good, she encouraged, never pausing her work. Keep reading. The world is full of words. Learn them, and you'll never be lost. Preserving the future. When the hardest part was over, she washed her hands in the cold stream. Now, she murmured to herself, the real work begins. From her basket, she produced a small pouch of salt and dried herbs she had gathered, wild garlic, pepper leaves, crushed seeds. Humble treasures, but powerful. Without them, the meat would spoil. With them, it could last months. What are you doing? The boy asked, leaning forward. Seasoning, she explained. Salt keeps the meat safe. Herbs give it flavor. Without a refrigerator, this is how we survive. He tilted his head, absorbing every word. So the meat will last, because of salt? She smiled. Exactly. One day, you'll do this yourself. Then you'll never go hungry. Her fingers pressed the mixture into the cuts of meat. The aroma rose, sharp, earthy, alive. The boy wrinkled his nose, then smiled as the scent mingled with the breeze. Smoke and sustenance. Back at the house, she hung the seasoned strips above the fire. Smoke curled upward, wrapping each piece in a cloak of preservation. The room filled with a fragrance so rich that the boy's stomach rumbled audibly. Hungry, she teased, and he nodded sheepishly. Patience, she said. First, we cook rice. Soon the hearth sizzled with a smaller cut roasting over the flames. Fat dripped, hissing against the embers. The smell thickened, irresistible. When the rice was ready, she set a humble feast, steaming rice, skewered pork, and pickled vegetables from last week. To anyone else, it was simple. To them, it was a banquet. The boy's eyes widened as he bit into the smoky meat. So good, he exclaimed. Too Deep smiled, chewing slowly, savoring not just the food but the proof of her labor. Eat well, child. Food is strength. And strength is life. Evening shadows. After the meal, as dusk softened the valley, she laid the boy on a mat, pulling a thin blanket over him. His breathing soon grew steady. Alone by the fire, she stared at the dancing flames. Her thoughts drifted across the ocean. Did James eat tonight? Was he tired? Did he miss her as she missed him? Her chest ached with longing. And yet, she held on to hope. The call, as if summoned by her yearning, the phone vibrated. James's name lit the screen. Her hands shook as she answered. James, deep, his voice replied, warm and familiar. How are you? How was your day? She leaned back, letting his voice wash over her like balm. I bought a pig today, she confessed with a small laugh. A huge one. It took all my strength to butcher it by the stream. My arms still ache, James chuckled softly. Only you could tell such a story so calmly. A whole pig. Then you'll have enough for the winter. Yes, she said. Smoked pork will keep us fed. The boy even read aloud to me while I worked. He's improving. That's wonderful, James said. You always teach, even while working. They fell into silence, listening to each other's breaths. Then his tone shifted. Deep, I have good news. The paperwork here is nearly done. I'll be home soon, her heart leapt. Truly, truly, he said firmly. I think of you every day. I imagine you by the fire, waiting. I want to sit at that table again, to eat the food you cook. Tears blurred her vision. I miss you, James. More than words can say. The house is empty without you, but I keep going. For us, you're strong, he whispered. Stronger than anyone I know. I'm proud of you, deep. She tried to laugh through the lump in her throat. Proud? I'm just a woman with sore arms and smoke in my hair. Exactly, he replied with a smile in his voice. And yet you carry it all. One day soon, I'll carry it with you again. A fragile hope. They lingered, sharing small details, her chickens, his factory shifts, the change of seasons. Across the miles, their voices built a fragile bridge. At last, she whispered, "You should let me go." It's late, soon, deep, James promised. I'll be there soon. Until then, take care of yourself, and the boy. I will, she said softly. Good night, James. Good night, my love. She ended the call, staring at the dark screen for a long moment before setting it down. Above the fire, the meat smoked slowly, silent guardians against hunger. The boy stirred in sleep, mumbling softly. Outside, crickets sang under a sky scattered with stars. Deep hugged herself, caught between loneliness and hope. James was coming home. Until then, she would endure. She lay down beside the sleeping child, listening to his gentle breaths. Tomorrow would bring new work, new challenges. But tonight, she allowed herself one luxury, the fragile, radiant promise of reunion.